Happy Monday to you. Welcome to Out of the Gate here. Track announcer Chris Griffin joining here in the Parx Racing studio, joined by the handicapper, the Hall of Famer. Look who it is, Craig Donnelly. Craig, I think I got like a booster chair. I'm sitting higher than you. You're a tall guy.
I'm 6'4". Do I have an edge on?
Yeah. How does one become a Hall of Fame handicapper here on the East Coast?
Well, I have to tell you, I'll try to make it quick. I started out in Miami, I go Hialeah, Gulfstream. My father was in racing, and I got fascinated. The first time I ever went to the track, I'll never forget. I said, I couldn't believe it. I didn't say it to him, I'd get in trouble. I said, they pay you to come here? Like, right. How good is this? So what I did was I was interested in handicapping. I picked the races for Tropical Park and all. And what I did one day was you had to be 21 to go to the races in Miami. I was 16. I snuck into the track being 6'4", acting like I belonged. And the next trick was to get me a mutual clerk to sell me a ticket.
Sure.
So I went up, I bet $2 to win on a horse. The horse wins then at 5-1. And then my next problem is, do I get this guy to cash the ticket?
Yeah.
So he cashes the ticket, and I got the heck out of there because I know my father would have killed me. But what I was thinking when I was leaving is, who needs to mow lawns and trim hedges when you could just come here and get the money with more fun?
That's how you got involved in handicapping right here, a Hall of Famer. Where can we find your selections? Obviously, at PTHA has already tweeted them out, but you make selections every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of our live racing.
Yeah, I pick all the races, and the sheets are available at the customer desk, service desk, and also online. At the PTHA website. Yep. And, you know, as I say, I still love doing it, and every day I come here, I want to think, maybe this is the day I'll go 10 for 10.
I took a look at some of your picks, and we are pretty in sync as far as some of our selections in there. I got the shirt on just to make sure, in case I forget, I'm the announcer. So this
I had a shirt that said handicapper, but it got ruined in the wash, so I had to wear this.
Chris Griffin here with Craig Donnelly. Let's get into some of the handicapping here. Race number 1, we take a look at a 1/16, $5,000 claiming race in here, and I'll go through scratches and changes once we finish with Out of the Gate. We get into full scratches and changes. You don't need those notes, but you take a look at race number 1. Nico Briantige has been pretty consistent at this level, and we're going to take a look at this replay here. But Craig, that's your top pick, and let's take a look at this horse's last run. So you look at this race in here. What are you seeing here from the 4? Why is this horse your top selection?
Well, what I'm seeing right there is absolute domination. I mean, he is, 6 in front or so, moving easily. And the amazing thing, this was a classy horse in the past. And what he's shown lately, surprisingly, he looked like a horse that was tiring in sprints. They stretched him out. Lupe Preciado's winning. I mean, Lupe Guerrero's winning a lot of races, doing really good. And they started stretching this horse out. And he even showed he could rate and relax off the pace and still run big.
Yeah, he does have to deal with flat XL in there a little bit. We'll see what the pace scenario does end up being there in race number 1. But Nico Briantige, you know when he's on a clear lead, that horse is really tough to handle. A
lot of heart.
If flat XL does not break well from the rail, then I think that the number 4 is a good selection in there. Take a look at race number 2. This race kind of changed dramatically for me. I really liked She's Got Game here at the 6 furlong distance in a $10,000 claiming race. You're going to go with Cup of Life here, and this horse is coming from that maiden 20, now down to the maiden 10 level. Ran over a sloppy track last time behind Crazy Serena. Do you feel like that race, that form is just too good?
I think what you're going to get here is a very short price on a horse that has very modest talent, but she's going to stand out in this field, because what I always look at, and I think it's great that you show it, is watching the replays, study the charts. The horse that beat her last time was dropping out of maiden special weights so she got beat by a horse who'd run with significantly better competition. Now, especially with the scratches, she has a weak field, but what I don't advise anyone to do is go bet horses that are odds on to win. I think if your horse is odds on, you think you can't lose, then bet one straight exact or something. But this horse isn't the kind of horse you want to bet the bankroll on at 1-2.
You are taking a look at that exacta, putting Balboa Smile underneath there, getting 6-1 in the morning line. We'll see if this 2-year-old filly Balboa Smile can complete your exacta at a bit of a price there. Might be a short price favorite, especially after the scratches. Hey, if you want to wager on that, you can do it on the new Parx Racing mobile app. Let's hear about that Parx Racing mobile app. It's brand new right here at Parx Racing.
An enhanced Parx Racing mobile app. The improved Parx mobile app will feature biometric login through fingerprint or face ID. View wagering information before building your wager. Customizable viewing options. Hands betting and transaction history. Helpful tips. And much more. The enhanced Parx mobile app, now available.
Back here on Out of the Gate here as we get into race number 3, and Jamie Ness going to be my top selection here, Noontime Gem. I think you go the same direction in here. You take a look at this horse, especially when they win, they usually win right back.
And he is amazing off the claim, let's face it. And the other thing he does so well is he's realistic about the ability of his horses. After this horse wins the non-winners of 4, he goes in for the nickel, non-winners of 2 and 6 months. It's not a huge class drop, but it is somewhat of a drop, and he's not going to worry about, hey, he's in for a nickel instead of 7,500. And Jamie Ness is spectacular, and I also like horses that show speed and routes going back to 7/8.
Race number 4, we get into 1 mile, $5,000 claiming race in there. This was a little bit tougher. I thought that this race you can go a little deep in here because it's just quite a few horses that have been finishing behind other horses. Boat Over the Hill might end up being one of your favorites in here. You're going to go with the 3, didn't do it here. Michael Sanchez, second off the layoff here for Steve Glaceras.
And one of the things that's key is, since I called charts, and I noticed this horse got in trouble on the turn last time, and he had every excuse to just back out and say, I'll do it another day. He ends up finishing 6th, but he's beaten 1 length. It was that tight a finish. I think if he avoids trouble, and Michael Sanchez, excellent rider, can just steer him out of trouble, which I don't think will be difficult, 8-horse field, I think he can overrun these fields and get good position early.
Race number 5, 5.5 furlongs, 12.5 claiming race in there. Starts another pick 4 sequence. Got 4 of them on the afternoon. Keep that in mind with a 50-cent minimum. And we take a look at this race at this 12.5. Big class dropper with Confirmed Genius in here. And Jamie Ness obviously has this runner you're going to play against. You're going to go back to Michael Sanchez here, trainer Michael Moore, and exact the number 3, your top selection, 5-1 in the morning line.
Well, you know what's funny is anytime when you're trying to beat Jamie Ness and he keeps beating you, eventually you keep banging your head and go, why do I try to beat this guy? But I have my doubts about Confirmed Genius. And exact, if you look at her last race, she got beat by Captain Sam, was a rocket ship at Charlestown. It was Charlestown, but that was a fast field. She had trouble at the start. The time before she got beat 3/4 of a length by Karen's Way, who I would have liked in this race. So there's every reason to think Exact's going to run a big race.
Yeah, Karen's Way scratched out of this spot, but we'll see Karen's Way coming back obviously in another spot, 1 by 11 plus lengths. You like that one in here, scratched, so we'll end up on the number 3 Exact. Race number 6 kicks off the Philly Big 5, over $154,000 into that carryover jackpot. I'll talk about that when we get into our live show. At 7 furlongs, Insta Famous I think is going to be extremely tough towards the outside. This horse finished behind American Unity. American Unity came back to win last week. Insta Famous showed all the fractions, was in front. That's also your top selection.
And you know what? You look at his record, you say, oh, he's 1 for 13. He's finished second 3 times in a row, and maybe he doesn't want to win. He fought like heck last time. He battled, and when American Unity came back to win, that just flattered his effort. And the other thing is, that race was after being off from April to November. So he should be fitter. He's got, as I say, clear sailing outside. I just think he's going to be very difficult to beat. But Jamie Ness has an excellent horse in here, too. As he does in most races, with Flim Flam Man, I think that's the second best horse.
Tomorrow we take a look at the Pennsylvania Breds and the Nursery Stakes, a $200,000 stakes race now because that purse was boosted over the summer. So some nice 2-year-olds in there. We did a quick little preview for that race, but who did you like kind of going into the nursery into tomorrow?
What I like, I saw a horse, I actually saw his first race at Laurel on television, and they won here, a horse named Whitty. I just loved the way he accelerated and drew away, and it was a very impressive maiden score in a good field, and the way he did it. That's why it's so important to watch the races. The other thing is, I looked up his pedigree. He's a half-brother to Caravel, who's a multiple stakes winner on the turf. But this horse is showing the same kind of ability on the dirt. Big, good-looking dude. I think Whitty's going to be really hard to beat tomorrow.
Wait until you see this video that we put together in the TV department. Let's take a look at the field here for the nursery coming up tomorrow right here at Parx.
2-year-olds going 7 furlongs will square off in the $200,000 Pennsylvania Nursery Stakes at Parx Racing. Whitty, who's by the sire Great Notion, is a half-brother to graded stakes winner Caravel and comes into this race off a dominant victory right here at Parx on October 25th. The filly Disco Ebo by the sire Wygelia has won her last 3 starts in impressive fashion. Dance Code by the sire Honor Code is now 2 for 2 at Parx. Nick Juarez piloted the 2-year-old to a nice victory here on November 10th and is going to be back aboard for the ride in the nursery. Recent maiden winners Whispering Springs by Divining Rod and Olivare by Overanalyze improved leaps and bounds in their most recent starts right here at Parx. Both look to take the next step forward in this $200,000 stake. A full field of 2-year-olds going 7 furlongs in the $200,000 Pennsylvania Nursery Stakes.
Should be a really nice race tomorrow there. $200,000. The 2-year-old's going 7 furlongs in the nursery. It's a nice full field in there. We'll see if the filly does go. Disco Ebo just won at Penn, and she was pretty impressive. We'll see if she takes on those rivals there for the PA breds. We got some great stakes racing action coming up at the end of the month as well, and those nominations close on the 8th, so we'll see what happens there. We got a late pick 4 sequence, and how do you attack pick 4 sequences? Do you like those 50-cent minimum? Do you like to spread a little bit? Do you look for a single? Is there a way that you attack those types of tickets?
Yeah, I think what you have to do is be a little flexible. If you're just going to pick 4 favorites, it's probably not worth doing them, especially with a 50-cent bet. So you need to go a little deeper and try. If you got a hunch that this horse got a shot at 10 or 20 to 1, throw them in. That's the only way you're going to hit at a really good price.
I liked your selection here in race number 7. I picked the same horse on top, but Cooper Penny. Make a case there for that filly.
Well, what the case you make is, you see she improved in this race last time, second by 8.5, but Same Moon was very impressive. It was off the Pinot claim, and what I always look for, she was 7 lengths plus in front of the 3rd horse. When you separate the field, like that's why charts are so important, that was a very strong effort for this level, and I don't think this field's as tough as the one that she's exiting.
Yeah, and she just looks like 2 turns on the main track is what she wants to do. She was, like you said, the turf, the sloppy track. She was trying tougher class level. I think they're just trying to feel out where she fits. She fits best in here. We'll see if we get that 8 to 1. I think that's a nice price to kick off your late pick 4. Get into race number 8, Rex Kwon-Do, 1 mile and 70 yards in here. Let's give a quick shout out to Scott Lake. He went down to Gulfstream Park, had a nice win with Sweet Wilhelmina, a horse that we've talked about here on this circuit. She's been consistently good here at Parx. Goes down to South Florida. Sylvester makes the trip as well, and they get the win. Return $18. Where were you? You were supposed to give me a shout on that one.
Good for them, and she wins by this far, but you know what? She actually had trouble in the race. Should have won by more.
Race number 8, taking a look at the 8. Let's look at that replay here from Rex Kwon-Do. And I took a look at this replay, Craig, and you'll see Rex Kwon-Do. It looked like Nick Juarez thought he had the lead. He was controlling the fractions. And now look, he's going to get pace pressure towards the inside. Flim Flam Man, who's going to run earlier on the card. Maybe keep an eye on that horse in there. But what did you think about this pace battle at the backstretch? Do you get worried when you start seeing something like this?
Well, normally it's going to be taxing for the horses dueling up front. And what the horse he's doing was, as you said, is a Jamie Ness runner. But this horse ran a very big race in that he kept running. Flim Flam Man edges away from him. But you know what? What I really like about this, too, is the fact that he showed he'll go long. That was his first time trying to go long. He was a long shot that day, so he competed better than expected. I think if he repeats that effort, he can win.
Yeah, Rex Kwon-Do, you're not going to get that 13 to 1 here this afternoon. Probably a little bit shorter price here today. We'll see what happens there in race 8. Race number 9, getting to the late double here. 7 furlongs of distance, an optional 16. Horses that we're familiar with, names that we're familiar with, but look at what we have here. Big City Bob, Jamie Ness, first off the claim. Ruben Silvera, who just went over 200 wins here at the meet here at Parx for a season. Congratulations to he and his connections. But Big City Bob's second beaten ahead behind Eddie's Charge. First off the claim, this horse is going to be very tough.
Once again, Jamie Ness off the claim, and he's coming back on the same spot. So that was with 2 months off. This time it's a few weeks. You expect improvement. He's amazing off the claim, and I love it. Once I mentioned earlier, going from the route to the 7 furlong distance, I think he's going to be really fit and tight.
We're going to get a quick look at here at Big City Bob here, and again, this horse is up on the far outside, is making a move. It's just going to fade through the late stages. You know, the rider felt like he had a ton here. You know, the horse is looking like he's going to finish strongly. A Big City Bob just kind of backs out of it, but you get first off the claim in here. Jamie Ness, it looks like they go right to the winner's circle in this spot, usually in these types of scenarios. There's also plenty of pace to set things up. Maine is going to go fast. Mahomes Money is kind of the interesting one. See how Excursion does earlier on in the card, because Excursion ran in that same race as Mahomes Money, claimed off of that Churchill Downs effort. Now they come here at Parx, so we'll see what happens there in race number 9. And race number 10 to close things out, 1 mile and 70 yards, 7,500 non-winners of 4 lifetime. If you haven't cashed tickets, this is like the get-out race, right? You get into this type of race in here and you're trying to make that money. Are you going to send us out with a winner in that get-out race number 10?
Let's hope. Not a short price, but a short name. Number 5, Refi. Last time out, I had liked Golden Spoke. I thought Golden Spoke was home free, and Refi ran him down with Paco Lopez. How often have we seen that? But in any case, I thought that was Refi's best race. He's taken the logical next step, and I think if he runs the way he did last time, got Michael Sanchez going for him, I think he deserves an edge. It's an 11-horse field, wide open.
Yeah, you got Michael Sanchez quite a bit on the card. You like him on top?
And he's a terrific rider. Terrific rider.
You are a Hall of Famer, Craig Donnelly. Look, we flew right through the handicapping. Don't forget, you can catch all of his selections at PTHA on their social media, at PATHA, and that website as well. Craig has got just top to bottom picks, just impressive stuff as you put those. How long does it take you to put those shoes?
I've noticed it usually takes me 3 to 4 hours to do each one, and I can honestly say, people think, well, when you have a bad day or whatever, who cares? That bothers me. I feel like a guy might be hitting 300 or whatever, but if he goes 0 for 6, he feels like an idiot. And that's the way this game is. We know you're a genius on Monday and an idiot on Tuesday.
There you
Just
go.
got to get used to that.
Big thank you to Craig Donnelly for joining me here on Out of the Gate. The announcer is getting ready to jump in the booth here and bring you scratches and changes right here from live racing from Parx Racing. Good luck here Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We got the nursery and customer appreciation on Wednesday. We'll see you, and good luck here from Parx.